colors. Be that. Good morning, everybody. Brought my alcohol and just spraying a tiny bit down into this bucket of clear, mostly just to break up any chunks of powder. Not enough to really mess with our mix at all. Now I already pre-mixed this epoxy, and I'm just putting a little bit of turquoise to it, or rather Caribbean. I want there to just be a little bit of a hue through the wood, through this, where you're going to see the wood floor, but this Caribbean's going to hopefully just tint it. Just want to make sure there's a good vortex for a moment in here. Get a really good mixer on the top. Make sure there's no chunks stuck to the top. There we are. Organize my shoes. Okay. Now I'm going to work without being on shoes as long as I can, because as nice as our little dancing shoes are that we like to show off, I do not like to be on them all the time unless I need to be. So I know I'm technically calling this a clear coat, but it's not clear necessarily. It is there's a bit of a tint to it, but as thin as we're pouring this product today, you're probably not going to see it very much. You should just barely see a tiny little hint of blue, and probably only in person, almost nothing on camera most likely. This is our T-bar applicators. I'll show you. It's like a roller. It's a phenolic roller basically, but if you notice, it's been cut in half, and instead of it rolling, it slides. And unlike rollers often just roll over debris that's left on the floor, and they just keep rolling back and forth, leaving that debris. This tends to clean the floor better than a Swiffer while you're actually epoxying it. So not like you wouldn't want to clean your floor prior, but when your method of application helps to clean it again, it does make your day a little easier. And then I have epoxy on this from the last 20 coats. And if you notice, a little chip of epoxy fell off, and that is my job to take any debris off this floor. So if I track it in. One nice thing about these is the faster you run them, the thicker the coating will be, because it kind of gauges it, and the slower you run it, the thinner the coating. So I'm going to cut this in. Now, as you see, this is my office, so I haven't really cared if we cut in perfectly. I'm actually still doing baseboards in here, but I'm actually going to trowel a wood epoxy, a wood grain, with our wall epoxy around the edges. So I am pushing this right up into our corner. I know sometimes watching epoxy get on the walls really frustrates some of the painters, and I totally understand. If this is a customer's house, I'll show you. We'll just slow it down like this, and you can cut in just how you would anything else. Nice and slow, and you'd mask any transitions. The funny thing is we actually don't mask the baseboards when we epoxy generally, because a lot of times if you can't get onto that, back into that masking to peel it off in time, you'll end up with a little blue line stuck into your wall or whatever color your masking is. Where are you guys all watching from? Who's coming to the class next week? Out to Western Colorado. Look forward to seeing you guys all on Monday. Texas, California, we're in Montana. South Carolina. It's like a Johnny Cash song going down here. I like this. Jeff Peterson in the house. Good to see you, man. There There's a lot of people calling in. Thank you. Welcome, welcome.
So that's a weird countertop.
This is a weird countertop, huh? This would be a weird countertop unless you like eating on the floor.
What are we applying today?
This is a clear coat, but we did put a slight pigment to it on purpose just so we can have a little, barely just a hue of Caribbean in our wood floor here. And we're going to put some accents right back into this as well, so, and show you the difference between putting accents in a clear versus putting accents in a color coat.
How many beard hairs are in the floor?
You know, right now, I'm hoping 0 beard hairs are in this floor, but you know what? If we find them, those will just be happy accidents. I do have a friend that has a nice big ginger hair right in the center of their white marble island, but I figure since I went down there and just helped them do it, that's the price they need to pay. Maybe that's what I'll do to everybody's jobs I do for free. How is everyone today? Everybody feeling blessed? I hope you guys are. Okay, I'm just trying to clean up and get it off this wall, and not just off of it, but out and away, so I have a nice organized pile to pull into here. I spend a little bit more time when I'm T-barring just organizing my floor than just the simply applying the product, because I think keeping your product gauged and really an even thickness all the way across is really going to help you on the job.
What was the purpose of the bucket? We had it upside down.
The bucket upside down was just to pour all the additional residual epoxy out of the bottom. So nothing that fancy. Just trying not to waste. I usually just pour it around the edge and then just leave it upside down at the very end of my floor. And what was that?
Are you spreading it
With a noodle. Yeah, this is a T-bar applicator. If you guys see, it's almost like a phenolic roller, like the lint-free rollers you'll see, but it doesn't roll, it slides. And this allows you to make a really smooth, very even coating. It really gauges it. This is our Outdoor Flex Epoxy by countertopepoxy.com. If you're watching our channel, thank you. Hope you hit the subscribe button or follow or whatever you do. I'm not sure what you guys do. But usually you're just gonna spread the excess into the floor, but unless you just accidentally mixed way too much, you shouldn't really have too much excess product. Very good question. I'm seeing a lot of health conscious people out there, and that is really important nowadays, especially when companies can legally lie to you. So this product here actually has 0 VOCs, volatile organic content, meaning the evaporative chemicals that harden. And unlike most companies that still can put up to 3%, which is a lot per volume, if you really think about it, we've actually spent a lot of time removing those chemicals out of our products. This is a pretty healthy, very durable, very clear, flexible, shock-resistant floor resin right here. Bubbles can be removed with alcohol on floors generally, and a torch on a countertop. Those are 2 of the easiest. Now, there's a few other methods, and this product does have an amazing amount of air release. For those of you that watched yesterday, I never did spray any alcohol or torch or anything to this floor, and it air released out very nicely. I do have shoes I wear. I have spiked shoes, and I'll be showing you in a second, but before I put those on, I just want to really finish spreading across the floor without them as long as I can. I usually only put those on when I have to put them on at the end. We do any buildings. I will fly anywhere in the world and apply an epoxy to anything for anyone, as long as you're a decent person and we're a blessing to you. Looking to go to Saudi Arabia here in a few months. I'm kind of excited about that. This is our countertop epoxy. This is our Outdoor Flex, and you're on our channel, so thank you guys for watching. We're just showing you, this is one of our premier flooring epoxies that we've been selling. This is a very successful resin, probably the most flexible and durable resin on the market right now today. And as you can see, even though this goes into, you know, hard-wheeled forklift areas and all kinds of commercial applications, it's also beautiful enough to be decorative in any kind of living area. Epoxy is a great way to really make any kind of pattern seamless, smooth, where you're not going to have grout lines. It's just another tool in your toolbox for people maybe that are tired of grout lines, tile, carpet, less cleanly things. So, and of course you get some of the most amazing patterns in the world. It's really durable, it's repairable when done correctly. Now a lot of epoxies are brittle, so definitely think about the product you're working with when you're trying to gauge those, the positives, because not all epoxies are created equal. Some epoxy does yellow over time. We have a lot of UV inhibitors in ours, and we also have a really UV resistant top coat, and we have a few different methods of dealing with that too. But I have seen a lot of just misapplied product and just a lot of cheap product out there, sadly. So, how much is this? This floor right here would cost you about $350, $400 to do, the way we're doing it right now. We're in western Colorado, Grand Junction, the western side of the state. Yeah, check out our YouTube, guys, too. We have a very good YouTube channel. Now I am moving on to the next phase, putting my dancing shoes on. These are our spiked shoes here. As you notice, there are long, tall, pointy spikes. I know everybody, including myself, wishes we could just use golf shoes, baseball cleats, some other form. The downside to all those other cleat patterns is most of them are not tall enough. And lately, a lot of like the golf cleats, golf courses aren't letting them use the really good cleats anymore that are really tall and pointy. So unfortunately, these are about the best for what we're seeing right now. Minnesota all day. I've actually done, in the last couple of years, I've been to Minnesota twice, I think, for jobs. So definitely just let me know when and where. So this is amazing for basements because we can deal with hydrostatic vapor and stuff like that better than most other products. Now, this is going to be a bit of a process, guys. I'm just dripping right now some almond into the floor. And if you notice, I'm putting this into a clear on top of my first layer of attempted wood grain. So and no, I have not done wood grains like this ever before, so I hope this. I just don't want to walk right in the epoxy on shoes, and the cleats really keep my feet up and out of it, and I have really good traction. That's just for the product. Somebody like me, just call our office and we'll help you find somebody that can install in your area, or if you have a big enough job, sometimes I even go. So I travel all around the world, so let me know where you need me. No, this is actually all epoxy. We're walking on an epoxy pattern I did yesterday, and I'm just trying to add to it today. So yeah, check out our video we did yesterday on YouTube, guys. These are my walls, and I apologize. I'm actually doing a weird troweled epoxy on these walls, which is why I have not protected them anymore. So we're putting running a wall epoxy baseboard system. And we've poured, this is probably our 9th layer we have on this floor just for fun with class members and stuff. So This cures out overnight. Usually before I walk on it, I try to give it a good 24 hours or whatnot, but sometimes 12 if heat is adequate. Remember guys, any questions, this is your live. Please hit the follow button. Hit that like button. No, I'm kidding, I don't know. You don't have to hit the like button. Hit the hate. Anybody, is there ever like the epoxy looks pretty, but that douche guy that's applying it, that drives the douchey lifted truck, we wish we could replace him. That'd be a good button. I see lots of videos like that. What is going on? I don't know what's going on. I had a few drinks and now I'm pouring epoxy. So do I torch? No, I do sometimes, but generally because we have a lot of alcohol on floors, we try to keep torches off the job site because I'd never want to create a safety issue. Oh, drop my napkin. Whoop, whoop. Look at this. Look at this. No harm, no foul. Thank you, y'all. I need what? The office ladies pouring would be a lot cooler and prettier than me, guys, but they do also really important things here. They usually just let me play so to keep me out of their hair so I don't bug them or do something stupid. So they're like, go play with epoxy, idiot. No, we're actually a really good team here. I love my team. This is the reason I'm not getting footprints is I'm wearing spikes. So if you notice, these are, I'm standing up above the floor. Okay, so there's my charcoal. You can run into leveling issues, but generally we deal with those pretty well. So that's kind of one of our main things we go over in class. We just did a very nasty floor that was kind of tough to do with a class last time the class was here, and even I was a little stressed about it and wondering how it was turn out. It turned out much better than I even hoped for, and it was probably one of the ugliest basement floors I've ever seen. Right over Spanish tile that was all failed and cracked, and the foundation had started leveling, settling, and it looks gorgeous now. No, this is cured up underneath, so it won't leave holes. We're just fine.
How are you hearing or reading comments?
How am I hearing? You know what? Let me think here. How do I hear the comments? Elon Musk installed a chip in my head, and it feels like I can read them. It's in my right eye, actually. So I'm totally kidding. Guys, that's not... If you guys were my kids, I would try to trick you into that, though. I remember I grew up rather like a little poor kid up in Idaho. I'd never seen a garage door opener, and this guy was like, abracadabra, and his garage door opened, and I was so impressed. I was like 5 years old. That stuck with me for years, and then he was like, now close sesame or whatever, and it would close, and I was like, oh, it's so exciting. I am not wearing a mask. Thank you for asking, all the health concerned people. I'm loving seeing people actually educating themselves on health. But most resins have a lot of harmful chemicals in it, and even the ones that advertise they don't, they still put a very large amount of volatile organic content that evaporates out to leave a hard base. And they're allowed to put quite a bit of that in there and not even tell you. So they'll advertise 100% solid, zero VOC. So they'll just try to say all our product is like the highest quality per industry standards, even though it's not. So you always want to look at that SDS, and that's what's going to tell you if they actually put something harmful in there. That's why a lot of people say, oh, I read, supposedly this is the best resin in the world, and it still tells you to wear a mask. Now, I always work in a well-ventilated area for health reasons, but always look at that SDS and see exactly what you're working with, and thank you guys for that. Now, I'm kind of worried. I don't know exactly. I think this might look like I just smeared epoxy all over the floor for a while, but we're going to see. I'm going to start out with my, nope, and we know that that is not going to be adequate, so, which is fine. I expected that. Back to my T-bar applicator, my favorite tool I seem to use everywhere. So I will start. I'm not wearing a mask because I'm a Republican. You know, that's kind of funny because probably some of the most hated people in my life are Republicans because I hate all politicians. So for somebody to make a random comment about me and being a Republican and not wearing a mask, it's probably instead, I would, unlike the person that made that comment, I'm educated. I've actually learned a lot about chemistry, and I'm immune to the kind of bullshit that people always project at other people. When somebody, maybe I grow a beard and you can't grow one or something, people get jealous or weird, and so they have to throw hate. So learn, if you're on my channel, to to throw some positivity around, or you probably just don't, you're not fitting in enough. I feel bad for people that have to value themselves like that anyway. Now this will be a minute, guys. I'm going to be working this in nice and slow, back and forth across the floor, because I really want this to be a somewhat similar streaked pattern to what it was yesterday. But what we're really looking for is for this to end up staying, building up on top and becoming very three-dimensional. And actually I can already see it's working really beautiful. It's just going to take me about probably 15 minutes to work my way across this. Covered patios all the time. Definitely doable. Oh, and I always get free shirts, just so you guys know. I have a place called Hustle Gear, and they send me a free shirt for every live if I want to wear one. And if you notice, it doesn't say I'm a Republican if you read it correctly.
Oh, here's Stacy.
Stacy, what are you doing, Stacy? It's good to see you. I just did a layer of clear, and now I'm mixing my accents in. And I don't know if you can see in the camera, but good Lord, this is actually getting a very nice three-dimensional veined pattern in person that I know that when we sand this is going to turn out very nice. Okay. All the things that you know you could make turn out decent, but it's going to take you a minute, and sometimes there's trial and error that customers are not willing to watch. Around a pool deck, yeah, it can be slippery if you were to just do epoxy like this, but we have really nice traction coatings that we would recommend instead. They're really durable. We have glass beads you can broadcast into more decorative coats like this anyways, that leaves a really smooth, but still a traction surface. You can do this over concrete or wood, either one. So both just a little different process, but it's all about sealing up that substrate. So as soon as you seal up the substrate, you're totally fine to go right over it. Plywood, totally fine. You still have to seal it first. And it'll really stabilize old, nasty plywood too. So
How many layers do we have on this on our office?
the majority of the floor is only 2 layers on them. And we did all those with a class. So, and then like right here, we probably have 9 layers right here, but this is just our kind of our fun spot that we keep going back over. This year is just 4 per coat, so I actually got the majority of the look in 4 layers. All right, sorry, 4 gallons total, and this is about 300 square feet. So we were pouring, 75, 80 square feet per gallon. So
How would you seal it?
Epoxy is already very sealed, so I would just consider that sealed in and of itself, guys. This is very self-leveling. It works really well with self-leveling as long as you pour it thick enough and apply it correctly. A nice even coat. So you want it really nice and even, and then you can do things like spray alcohol and whatnot towards the end. Oh, it's starting to really turn out good out here actually. That's going to sand really nicely. I'm going to degloss this with a sander, and I think it's really going to leave a perfect wood grain in this floor.
How would you fix the drywall?
The drywall, I'm actually going to be troweling a bunch of epoxy on this drywall. So this is my office, and these are just our walls. So if you notice, there's no baseboard down. For all you painters that say, like, we usually mask, well, usually there's baseboards on the floor. But when there's no baseboards, you can pour right to it and then shoot your baseboards on if you'd rather. Or, like what we'll do is we'll trowel an actual wood grain pattern, but using our wall epoxy so we can be very, accurate with our wood grain pattern. Can we pour epoxy over what? A metal deck, yes, definitely. So you'd want to mechanically abrade it though. So You definitely need a mechanical bond if you can't penetrate the substrate. So anything non-porous, make sure you prep it for a mechanical bond. You can pour over tile. This is actually tile we're walking on originally. This was a lot of tile in this building, and we poured over all of it. We did this all with a class as well.
How many times can you re-pour it?
Oh, you can pour till you stop wanting to pour.
Someone had a question about pricing. They said if it was $350, it would be $3 a square foot.
$350 would be so if this was $350, but it's 300 square feet, would that be $3.50 a square foot? I mean, I teach this a lot, and I'll help you guys do math. But what I would generally do is I'd figure out how much it cost, right, and divide it by the square footage. So if you look at like this right here, it cost you about $350 to $400, and it's about 300 square feet. So it'll be a little less than that. It'll be about $1 a square foot. And that's very give or take. That's why I kind of give you just sort of ballparks, because a lot of people are going to want more color down, another thin layer, and it's $1.50, $2.50. Like 4 would be pretty high. You can do quite a bit with $4 a square foot. So yeah, plus labor, but come to a class too. I mean, just come to a class. I'll be honest with you guys. So many people show up to this class of ours, and they're just amazing artists. I don't know if Stacy's on there anymore, but she's an amazing artist. And there's constantly people here that are probably a better artist than me. All they kind of need me for is to help show them kind of the science behind epoxy. And then my goal is to try to get your artistic ability and your desire for creations. And not if you're a freaking artist, dude. I'm not an artist. But just if you have something that you're wanting done, I want to show you which product to use, the way to use the product in a manner that it won't fail or frustrate you, in a way that it'll just hold up and be able to warranty.
She said she'll be here for June.
Ooh, good job, Stacy. Look forward to seeing you again.
Can you do countertop backsplashes as well?
Countertop backsplashes, we'll either pour them on a board and install them in place, or you can very easily trowel them as well. Just remembering that troweled epoxy, because it's a different type of product and different method of application, when you trowel epoxy, it definitely gives you a lot different look than poured epoxy. So just be thoughtful of that. It's an amazing look, but usually I'll do like, say, soapstone on the backsplash and black marble on the countertop or something like that. Oops, sorry. How's everybody? Everybody thankful for something today? Everybody got something to be grateful for? I'm grateful for you guys being patient with me while I respond to political people. I am wearing a political shirt, but it is free, and I love the company and the people that make them. I am just not very political. I'm thankful you guys woke up another day too. I'm thankful you guys are okay with my breathing, since I'm just here to heavy breathe on a microphone for you guys. No, I'm very non-artistic, and actually some of the non-artistic people do better. And the reason being is because you guys will follow a process, and really we try to explain to you the need to understand processes during the class, because everything here is science. So there's a chemical reaction taking place that's very simple to understand, but it's really going to greatly affect your cure times, your color stability, everything. So the guys that aren't artists and girls that just look at it, most people are a little more artistic than they thought, as long as they're just trying to create something that they're excited about. That's what I've noticed. So don't come here afraid to express yourself. Took me a while. Yeah?
I think someone wants to know what shoes you're wearing.
I am wearing spiked shoes here. Da-na-na-na. I could tell by the way I walk, I'm a epoxy man, no time to talk. Epoxy man. Oops. Now I maybe scratched my floor trying to be fancy, guys, sorry. I scratched my floor. Oh. Levy. It's okay. I was trying to dance and my spike scratched it. Good thing I can fix it right now. I just peeled a little curly Q of not very cured epoxy, and I want to have a perfect floor when I'm done, not just a kind of nice floor. So I'll pick up this little, man, this epoxy is tougher than you think. When you have to cut a little piece off, you realize that it's, we have about 2 hours on this floor if we need. I could even get more if I wanted, but. How I did what? How do I know about the comments? Like I say, guys, I feel the comments coming towards me. So I focused really hard in my head, and I can just see everything you guys read. No, I actually have a badass named Michael. Me and him are a team, and we work together every day, and he reads me the comments. And sometimes he's like, I hear him read a comment, and I know he's like, this was a contentious one because the person mentioned it 4 times probably, and I can tell I'm like, oh, I actually need to say something to this. And then I tried to not be an idiot and be all overly defensive like I get sometimes. So you tell that asshole to suck it. What's this? Dude, everybody got it. We should actually just switch jobs. Michael's a gangster. You guys have to watch his dirty pours. Michael does some of the best, actually artistic, really cool stuff. Okay, this wood floor is actually turning out, and Michael, you tell me when you need me to hold that camera for you, because I do think we should do a good introduction of who Michael is. You're fine. I'll come over and clean with you. We can always clean a mistake. We don't do Zoom classes that often. I've done some odd instructional and like job site help via Zoom with some engineers and whatnot before. And I'm not saying I'm opposed to the idea of something, but generally you're going to just love showing up to a class and getting to eat with us, hang out with our students, meet our staff, and get tons and tons of hands-on training. Was Michael on cam yesterday? Oh, that's right, that's right. Oh, that was a horrible, you had the worst videographer in the world while he was getting shoes on.
People want to know where we are, and someone said I've been doing this course for 12 years now.
We are in Grand Junction, Colorado, which is the western side of the state. And we teach classes. I don't know, guys. I really don't know what I do with these harsh lines. I kind of think I don't want anything too solid in it. So I'm probably going to target some of the really solid ones out there right now and come back across the floor, especially if they're not very straight.
How many days is the training?
The training is 3 days, and because everybody has their own level of living, you can just get whatever hotel you prefer to stay in here, and meet us at class every day. I do pay for food and a ton of epoxy, so we come ready to pour a lot of stuff. Say what? Michael's trying to read me stuff. I'm getting far on the floor. I'm getting far away.
We need to make Michael a holder so he can do TikTok and YouTube live, so the camera's 45 on YouTube.
You know, I think a lot of people don't like the vertical cam position. Is that what they're referring to?
Yeah.
You know, and the only thing, and I'm not against working something like that, is I do believe the way we have this set up, it's the easiest for us to repost these videos directly onto YouTube afterwards. No, this is not toxic, not this specific product right here. Say what? This is a union job? No, this is just a Grand Junction, Colorado countertop epoxy job that we are doing for fun, for a live, for you guys. Somebody wanted me to do a wood floor pattern, and that is my attempt here. So I'm actually going to I'm going to sand this to get the actual wood grain out the most, I believe, but for what I have right now, I think this is turning out pretty well. Teresa, thank you. Is Teresa a mother? Information on classes, $349 a month. You check the link in the bio. You can sign up for any class you want to. Remember, it is 3 days of hands-on training, a ton of pouring epoxy, mixing epoxy. We go over and over and over timing and temperatures, explaining to you how to manipulate your work time based on your mixing process and a few other things too. But you should feel very comfortable understanding how to mix and apply epoxy, whether you're artistic or not, at the end of the class, because you've done it over and over and over again. So you should be able to go home and just repeat something you did in class if you want to have a really successful job. Yeah, just go right to Countertop Epoxy. The link's in the bio, countertopepoxy.com, and check out our store. And we ship this all over the world every day. And we have very fast shipping. All of our shipping usually goes same day if you order early enough, and next day on everything that I think is after like 11 or something.
Do you sand it and just like it? You can just pour more epoxy to make it shiny again?
Yep, completely. You can even polish it back up, so if you wanted to.
What do you recommend prep flooring temperature to be?
I try to keep the flooring temp around 70, 75 degrees. Although I do know that flooring can be a little tough, a floor, to get the actual floor temp up to that. So say you're still 60 degrees, you're fine. Just keep your ambient temperature at around 70, 75 degrees. Make sure you're not under 70 or 75 if your floor is a little cooler. But floors will always be, they pick up, especially if you don't have a moisture barrier or you're on slab. You get a lot of moisture penetration and evaporation and whatnot that causes cooling. We have about 2 hours of working time if we need it. We could create ourselves a little more if we needed, but for right now, the way we mixed, we're going to be just fine.
There's a couple of questions I've seen here about the monthly fee. They must be thinking that we charge monthly for.
We don't charge any fee for, we don't charge monthly fees for workshops, guys. You just come to a workshop. So, and we have the workshops every month here. So every month we do another workshop here. If you come every month, we have people that show up every month. It's only $99 for your second workshop, I believe. So your first one, your first workshop's $349, and after that, I believe it's just $99. I used to do free workshops, and then people would reserve all these spots for them and all their friends and not show up. So, and they're very expensive. I mean, we put on a good workshop. There's a reason why we're the #1 epoxy company in the world.
Do you do any projects?
Wood graining? I'm attempting to do a wood grain floor here for a customer, but they wanted it done with a regular epoxy and not a trowelable epoxy. But I'm actually going to border this with something we trowel that I know I can do more of a wood grain pattern on.
They said wood turning.
Oh, wood turning. Yeah, I wish I did more wood turning. Unfortunately, I'm not very cool, so I have a lathe myself, but I have not messed around with it enough. Actually, watch our video on how we're actually putting some more out too, of how we recommend to stabilize a joint and then slurry that joint. And I'm going to be going over a lot of that here in the next few days and shooting a lot of videos on that. These are my spiked dancing shoes here so that I can walk out here on the epoxy. It is not hard to get into the epoxy business. It's probably one of the most profitable and easy to get into businesses. If you want to do something that's high level and profitable, where you're not just needing, $50,000 worth of tools to be a legit contractor, epoxy is definitely for you. We have a lot of like women that are really artistic that get into this, that are profitable, because you don't need 10 guys carrying slabs of granite. Anybody that's intelligent and intentional can learn to market, install, mix, apply. So no matter who you are, show up to a class.
Have you done a casting class already?
Yeah, we do lots of casting. Actually, next week we're teaching a casting class. It is not slippery.
I'm curious to ask a flooring tech employer this training, but I said, what's casting?
Casting is a thick resin that you can pour a very thick, and I'm going to get some sprays of epoxy here, guys. But casting resin is a really thicker pourable epoxy that's water clear that you can encapsulate really neat objects and whatnot in. So, do we have to torch? I'm not going to torch. I'm going to spray alcohol. And prior to spraying alcohol, I'm going to spray some alcohol with colors. So I'm going to try a couple little colors here. The shirt was given to me by Hustle Gear Co. They give me all my free shirts. If anybody sees shirts, offensive or not, they're usually from Hustle Gear, this amazing company. I don't know why. They're just kind to me. So I get lots of neat stuff from them. What was the other question?
Where can they get the shoes?
Shoes, you can buy them right on our website, or I would just look up Zorro, a couple companies. They're kind of expensive with some of them, but I would just look up exactly where they recommend buying them. Vanessa, I have a bunch of scooters in our office. Teresa, if you're Mother Teresa can ice skate anytime she wants to up in my place. So right now I'm trying to put down some trans green. Okay, I never get this joke correct, so let's see if I get it right. Yo mama's so old when she breastfeeds, she's like, well, it's supposed to be powder pops out. Man, maybe this is like an old guy at the sperm bank. Man, I'm not. You guys are gonna probably bring me new bottles since I. Oh, you know what? I can't wait for those. Okay, you know what? Okay. Let me. I'm just spraying some gold on the floor really quick. Yeah, whatever you want, guys. And this is not a slippery floor. These are actually surprisingly non-slippery. So, and I am spraying just a little bit of gold down using alcohol. And man, it is actually laying this down pretty nicely too. This alcohol, it's adding a little bit of a color to the top, but I was wanting to really accent this and then try my V-notch squeegee, but unfortunately, let me see here. Here we are. No, it's not. The only thing you'll smell in here is a little bit of the alcohol we're spraying, but thank you definitely for you guys for carrying. This is kind of a unique product, a little different than most, so. Set it up here with all my glitter in the windowsill. My light turquoise, my gold. Okay, if I can get this end right, I'm gonna try. All right, there's our light turquoise. I don't want the whole floor turquoise. And this is our mica powder mixed with 99% isopropyl. Oh, you're totally good. I should have grabbed that for you, Michael. Okay. Now I'm just testing to see if I can wood grain this with a V-notch now. I'm wanting just to have some linear, really sharp scrape. So this is actually just a V-notch trowel, not necessarily the #1 way to do this. But we were getting a pretty good job done last night with it like this. it does get rid of a lot of air bubbles. And I actually have translucent green in this, and now I'm running a V-notch, and I'm getting in person, there's a really three-dimensional linear wood grain pattern kind of popping into the floor right now. Go to Hustle Gear Co. and check out their shirts, guys. That company, if you guys see all the shirts I wear, those are all Hustle Gear, almost, except the really dumb ones that I wear that I just buy at like Cabela's or something. Made by the best designer. We're located in Grand Junction, Colorado. That's the western side of the state. So if you're looking to come to a class, fly all the way into our town, and it's a very amazing, lots of outdoor activities, Colorado National Monument. Bring your family, there's everything here.
Someone running through it.
Say what?
That floor looks really slippery. You marine someone running through it.
Not sure. I'm sure a Marine would run through this floor, but I'm a Marine. I run around on everything.
How long are your classes?
Classes are going to be 3 days of, it's about 6 to 7, sometimes 8 hours, depending on a big project or whatnot. I've been trying to breathe a little less heavy so you guys don't have to hear my porno breathing that was going on yesterday. I'm sorry, I kept breathing so heavy, and then I focused on not breathing heavy, and then I breathed heavier.
And then you stop breathing.
Then I stopped breathing.
Do you ever add flake?
I don't like flake floors that much. Not that I'm not against them, so don't get your feelings hurt, anybody. But I'm not a big fan of flake floors. All right. Just a little bit of gold.
How are you doing?
And I'll just keep this here. How am I doing? I'm doing very well. Thank you, guys. Thank you for asking if that's what
You are
somebody...
your best you.
You know what? I try to be my best me. But you know what? You are your best you? I thought they were saying I'm my best me. That's a good, you are your best you. I try to be my best me. But I will say, I generally always see room for improvement with myself, personally. Yeah, if you're good at flake floors, then you actually are good at prep. So don't worry about it. Come on by a class and let us work with you on that. I'm targeting any of my real white areas with some gold.
Are you your best you? It's a question I ask myself every day.
You know what? I do ask myself that every day. I like the idea of try to be that person. If you were to watch a movie about a badass, decide how that person would act, and usually they'd be more honest, they'd be more caring than a lot of our natural human tendencies are. So if you lay down at night and you're taking your shoes off and you think, man, I wouldn't have wanted to watch the movie I watched today, live a different life, be a different you. It's easy to say, but real life comes at you pretty hard sometimes. Oh, what was our name of the live title today? Morning Wood Part 2. Just letting you guys know our floor is very healthy. Say what? Scott Romero, I guarantee somebody from the office or myself will call you here shortly. I know we've been really busy, but thank you for watching. I know I've been out of the office all day and I barely made it in time to do this, so. Okay, okay, just a few more spots of my light turquoise. The shirt was made by Hustle Gear Co. Hustle Gear Co. Best designer in the world. It's an awesome company. So they give us there's a lot of other shirts on there too. If anybody's seen any of my offensive t-shirts, the ones I like so much, you know, I would wear any shirt promoting anything if it was just to stir the pot at like a family reunion or something. We are doing an epoxy floor right now, yes. You are correct. What's that?
They didn't know that. They thought I was talking.
You know what? Yeah, sorry. I'm doing my best. The guy behind the counter is much more, the camera is much more professional than me. So you'll know when he talks. All right, now I'm just doing my final swiping. Remember when you wipe with a T-bar front to back. Oh.
Still moving under you? Do you feel it sinking?
No, it's the epoxy is moving quite a bit. I mean, I'm able to really T-bar this, and it's perfect right now. This is the perfect time to come back over this. I'm able to really manipulate it still, but I think it's set up just enough to where my pattern should stick pretty well too. Somebody says I should do a raffle for free epoxy, and whoever wins gets a free class. I'll just do this one better because that sounds douchey as hell. Like my money? No, I'm kidding. I'll tell you what you do instead. Just say, I called during this live, and Levi said we can all have free classes. So anybody on this live that wants a free class, call the office. But it has to be by the end of the day, and we'll verify. And just we want to know that you've been on this live and that you asked for a free class 2 days. So if you call and you say, Levi said I can have a free class, just come for free. But you have to come and have fun every single day and listen and pour epoxy and eat really good food and just be a positive part of the class. And if you promise to do that, I'll always cover your cost of class. So link is in the bio. So go check out the class days. Link is in the bio. Go and tell them Levi said I get a free class, because tomorrow I'm going to be like, dude, I don't know what the hell he's talking about because that was yesterday. I'm kidding. I always say that, but then I'm too nice. I'm only 5'8", guys. I'm not that big. And why would you care the size?
Good dude.
Oh, a good dude. I thought you said a big dude. I'm like, I'm only 5'8". You know what? You're not taking advantage of me at all. If you show up and you're a badass in class and you just care about everybody, I'd love to have you in class. So, we're in Western Colorado. That's Grand Junction. Beautiful, beautiful place to visit. We have a really nice downtown. Okay, guys, you guys can't see in person right now. I'm about to get across to you, but there's trans green and gold in here that I'm swiping across into the floor. That's leaving a really perfectly swipe texture. It's nice. I think we'll have a pretty good wood grain. I'm going to sand this floor though, I think, to degloss it. The one that does what?
Glow pour painting.
Glow pour paintings? You're your best you? I want to see that stuff. Share it with it. Everybody follow or go check out the I Am My Best You. That's badass. Thank you for sharing that with us. And do the Q&A to us and show us some of the stuff you do. And we have a bunch of glow powder. We'll send you some stuff. So if you want some stuff to play with, I would love to send you some stuff to play with. Lots of people play with stuff after watching my videos. Say what? I'm almost to you. I should, huh? Sand a part of it and leave a part of it. I think that's a good idea. Hey, make sure to follow our YouTube if you guys want to, because now you see our lovely government that hates Americans having information is trying to ban TikTok. So follow us on YouTube so you can still be offended by me after TikTok disappears, because we'll just keep going strong. We're going to do the same amount of lives and everything every day. You're the blood of my heart. Come do a collab. That'd be awesome. You're always welcome. Anybody that wants to come and do something. You'll find out that I'm not an artist, but anybody that wants to come out will find a way to do a collab if you're a good artist that can actually teach me to suck less. It really is kind of fun, isn't it? Epoxy is fun stuff. I have plenty of time. I could still, wow guys, I don't know if I dare. This is a really dumb idea, but I'm sort of debating. I know, dude, I shouldn't right now. This is actually all epoxy, guys. I'm gonna T-bar this quickly before I get too far ahead of myself, just in case this was a really bad idea. Because half of my ideas are. Okay, I'm able to mix it in still. Okay, that's all I wanted to make sure is that I could mix it still.
I'm not trying to be rude when people say not to do countertop epoxy because it gets beat up quickly.
You know, a lot of people used to tell me, never mind, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say something about your mom, but that's even TikTok not friendly. That joke almost turned out. You know, it definitely depends on the use and the kind of countertop epoxy, and it's definitely not rude because there's a lot of really trashy brands out there, so unfortunately. But a good brand like ours, I mean, most of our installers, we have installers that do this in Aspen Telluride everywhere, and they warranty their work. But I mean, it's definitely a higher grade product, so. Sometimes I wish I didn't think of all my jokes in my head that I do. Well, if you guys that use Elite Crete ever want to try a really good epoxy, definitely give us a call and we'll help you out. We'd love to work with you. I used to use Elite Crete back in the day. Dude, what a badass. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you. Who is that so I know who to look for? Jenny. I'm not as cool as Forrest, Jenny, so I look forward to having you in the class. Thanks for signing up. Okay. I think this is where I do the rule where I'm like, okay, I've messed with it long enough. Now I need to stop. And I think now I need to stop. So this is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to hit the follow button. I am going to go back out here right now and I'm going to spray some clear coming back across the floor. I don't know if you guys will want to stick around for that. Now, if you notice, I'm just trying to spray it in a real fan, like a real atomized misted effect, because I just want it to land on the epoxy and pop any potential little air bubbles. However, you're not going to have a lot of air bubbles on this. This product already, the Outdoor Flex has a lot of, or the Ultra Flex, it has a lot of air release already in it, so you definitely don't need to go too overboard. And if you spray big droplets, it will have a tendency to kind of marble the a lot of your pattern you have underneath, so there's not always a need for that. You might not want that if you got a really nice swipe effect and then drop big droplets into it. Well, you know what, if you, on my best mate, just come to a class and you'll become more experienced with it. And I guarantee, I get excited when I see different artists and people that do actually view things from a more artistic perspective, unlike me. And they sometimes mix it with their own forms of media and just really surprise you with some of their artistic creations. So I'm sure that's going to be you. So show up and I'll teach you everything I know and we'll figure it out together. How do you clean up? That's a good question. Check out this edge right here. See this edge of epoxy right along here? And see how I sprayed purposely over it? Well, the only thing here is really just powder, because we mix our mica powder with 99% isopropyl alcohol. And unless you're spraying it into a wet, uncured epoxy, you have nothing left on that floor whatsoever. Now, if you see this, That's a shoe print from a student that stepped in glittery epoxy like 5 coats ago, and then they stepped and you can see their shoe print there. But as far as like all your powders and everything, it's kind of nice to be able to just wipe them right up just directly after the job. So give it a good 24 hours before you walk on it. You know, you just definitely do want to give it that time. And then maybe even the next morning to peel your tape. Generally, you know, your 12 hours is a good time frame. Don't peel it sooner than 6 hours or you'll still get some flowing back on that resin. So like this tape here, we peeled it actually this morning. It had been over 12 hours, 14 hours, and it still peeled really nice. So thank you guys so much for joining us. I sure hope you have an awesome day. And we'll join you again this afternoon or tomorrow for another live. And hopefully I learned how to do wood floors even better. And hit that follow button. And come see us on YouTube.